Hey guys, Michael here. Today I'm going to show you how to wash a bike and clean and lubricate your chain. So first thing, get your bike somewhere where if you're using any chemicals it's not going to kill any plants or grass or stain any concrete. This concrete's usually alright. And start by removing any accessories off your bike. Even if they're waterproof, it just helps you can get a bit better clean if you take your accessories off. So let's do that now. If you have a bike stand, it's probably a bit easier, but I do have one, but for the sake of this I'm just going to do it against the wall because not everyone has a bike stand. So with all the accessories removed, you don't have to take things like your drink holder or pump off or anything like that. They're all usually pretty well sealed and waterproof. So first thing I'm going to do is use some degreaser to degrease my chain, sprockets and cassette and derailleur, things like that. Try not to get it on the paint of the bike or the discs of your brakes or inside the pads or anything like that, because if you do have disc brakes, because it can eat the paint on your bike and it can damage your brake pads and it can make your discs extremely slippery when you ride it next time. So this is what I'm using, just normal degreaser. You can use anything you like, don't use anything too strong. There is one called Muck Off. I've never used it, but from what I've seen it looks pretty good, so maybe get your hands on some of that. So just spray your cranks, give the chain a spray, and make sure you do your cassette quite well. Give the pedals a turn while you're doing it, make sure you get it all over. Now what I like to do, you don't have to do this, but I do have a brush. You can use an old toothbrush or anything like that, and just again over the sprockets and over the chain. Okay, now that's done. What you're going to want to do is hose it off and just wet the rest of the bike, ready for your soap. So I've got my hose here, and I'm just going to hose off the degreaser that we've put on and just give the rest of the bike a hose down, and then we can get ready to soap it up. So just make sure that you do wash both sides of the bike. That's why a stand can be easier, because you can walk around it, but no big deal. We'll just tilt it back and give it a hose off this way. Just make sure you get in everywhere. Make sure you wash especially under the bottom tube and places that you can't see, because dirt does get stuck in there, and if you never wash it, it'll just build up and it can start damaging your frame. Okay, so now what we're going to do, just like a car, is soap it up with a sponge. I'll just use car wash soap. You can use whatever you want. There is dedicated bike products, but I think they're the same. So just soap it up, sponge, car wash, warm water is probably better, and just start soaping it down with a sponge. Again, just get behind the other side of it. Make sure you soak that side up too. Okay, once it's all soaked up, just give it a rinse off and get all the soap off you can. Alright, now the next step is optional. You can chamois the bike off with a chamois, but usually I just let it dry in the air. So at this stage, normally what I do, this is extremely important. After you wash your bike, especially degreased your drivetrain, you're going to want to put some lubricant on it. So what I'll do, just grab a rag and start to dry the chain and get as much of the grease off as you can. Backwards pedal, hold the rag over the chain, not too tight or it will come off, and just turn it like this. So here's another tool I like to use. It's a chain cleaner. You probably wouldn't need to do it because we've already brushed it and all that stuff, but I'm just going to show you anyway how it works. Top comes off, fill it with degreaser up to the line. Be about right there. So this just goes under the chain, this goes in, clip the top on, swing this arm back, just locks it in place, and as you turn it, the chain will run through and it will clean and degrease and brush your chain clean. Okay, that should do. Unclip it. As you can see, very dirty, so empty that somewhere safe. And again, just dry the chain off with a rag on it. Now the next step, once the drivetrain is dry, is to lube it up. This is the lube I use here, Epic Ride by White Lightning. It is a wet and dry, which is what I use on this bike because it is a mountain bike, so it is often getting a lot of mud and water onto the chain. But at the same time I still do a bit of road riding with it, so wet and dry is a good option. If you do a bit of both, generally road bikes you'd probably just use the dry, and a mountain bike wet or dry. In summer I'll go down, probably step onto a dry, but for now it's wet and dry. So to put that on, just undo the cap, or give it a shake first, sorry. Good shake. And just place it here, not too much, and just turn the chain back as you apply the lube. Now the one thing that a lot of people forget to do is to lubricate their cables. Any cables that are exposed, make sure you lubricate those. So the way I do that, just put a bit on in between my fingers like that, and just run it down, up and down. Any exposed cables. So my brakes are hydraulic, so they don't have any, there's no cables for those. There's one under here. And what I also like to do is just put a bit of lube on the moving parts of the derailleur, so around the spring, any cables, and any parts where the derailleur bends and moves around. What you can also do is lube your forks, just on your fingers, just a bit round and round like that. What I usually do at this point is wait about half an hour or an hour, and then I'll just wipe over the parts I just lubed. So give the chain a quick wipe down the cables really quickly, and yeah, that's about it. You've just washed your bike and cleaned and lubricated your chain. Thanks for watching. Hope this helped you in some way. If it did, please like, comment or subscribe, and stay tuned for more future videos. Thanks again. See ya.